Escape from Tarkov can be a very intimidating and terrifying game. Tarkov can be one of the most stress and anxiety-inducing video games out there, especially when you're playing solo. Today, we are going to be talking about how to get over that solo anxiety. I got the idea of making this video when a viewer from my Twitch chat told me that he really wants to play solo, but it stresses him out too much. And he literally asked me, what's the best way to get over solo anxiety? Also, if you guys do want to drop by the Twitch live streams, do check me out. I stream from Monday to Friday, twitch.tv/ramenstyle. This video's format is going to be a little more casual. I'll have a video of one of my raids taken from my live streams playing in the background while I pour out my thoughts about this topic. I'll be popping out some words or statements on screen, so at least you guys have visual context of some main points I want you guys to take away from this video. Before I get into things, I do also want to say that whatever I share and say in this video is purely from personal anecdotes. This is how I got over that solo anxiety as I look back and think of how I started in Escape from Tarkov. And although these are based on personal experience, I do still feel that it's worth sharing, as I think that most of us, or you and I, have a lot more things in common than we think. So the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to getting over solo anxiety is number one, start with the right mindset. There are a few ways to get into the right mindset when playing Escape from Tarkov. First, understanding that this game is a survival shooter at its core, and that means survival should be the challenge in this game. And because the core gameplay does revolve around surviving, the game is designed to stop you from surviving. And just like any other video game, you have to find a way to win against all odds. The point I'm getting to here is that you're not meant to survive every single raid. You will die a lot, probably more than you'll ever win and more than you'll ever want. Which leads me to my next point, learn to fail forward. With every loss, the easiest thing to blame is everything else but ourselves. And I know you're about to comment on this video and say, how about the cheaters? It's not my fault one died to a cheater. And yes, you're right. Cheaters are an exception to this rule. You and I have the same dream, a dream of cheaterless Tarkov, but I don't know if that's coming anytime soon. But outside of dying to cheaters, do your best to take accountability for all your losses. And yes, including desync deaths. Desync is a big problem in Escape from Tarkov that has existed for a very long time now, but that doesn't mean it's okay. It's definitely something that should be solved by the devs as soon as possible, but in the meantime, as a Tarkov player, we have zero control over desync. And in the meantime, while desync is still around, if you want to enjoy Tarkov, you're gonna have to put up with the desync and learn to play around it. But believe me, as I said earlier, my dream is cheaterless Tarkov and desync-less Tarkov. One day, guys. One day. Now that I've addressed the elephant in the room, which is desync and cheaters, I can now go back to my original point, which is learning from your losses. With every loss, there's always something to learn. Example, if you keep dying in a certain area or you keep dying to the same angle over and over again, then now you know that area or that angle is a hot spot. Play around it next time, maybe avoid that area or pre-aim that same angle you keep getting camped at. Maybe use utilities next time like a flashbang or a grenade to clear a corner you have difficulty clearing. Even in moments where you're running outdoors and you get one tapped from, I don't know, 200 meters away by a sniper and you're just wondering where the heck did that come from. And yes, I know the feeling. It's super frustrating. You spawn in shoreline and you're just running down the open field, you get one tap. But I learned that over time, as you keep playing the game, you will find that spot you got one tap from eventually. After running raid after raid after raid, there's gonna be that one raid where you chance upon this rock on a cliff or a window that overlooks an open field and realize, oh, this is where I got shot from before. Another common reason for dying a lot is sprinting at the wrong time. Are you sprinting too much to give your position away, or do you get that weird moment when someone peeks out a corner and you're mid-animation in the middle of a sprint so you can't shoot back? Another note as well you want to take from your losses is, did you set yourself up for a bad situation? Should you have held this angle? Should you have looted that guy that quick? Should you have waited a little longer to clear the area? There's so much to learn from your losses. I also encourage you, if your computer is capable of recording footage while you're playing, do record your raids and review them. Sometimes there will be little details that you would have not noticed in the heat of the moment that you will see in your recordings. And that, in a nutshell, is what I mean by failing forward. There are no losses, only lessons learned. And to wrap up my first main point about starting with the right mindset, Another tip is to not mind the numbers or stats. There are a lot of stats when it comes to Escape from Tarkov, like your survival rate, your KD ratio, how many PMCs you've killed, and sometimes you may not even realize it, but you start playing around those numbers, especially the survival rate. Playing around stats or numbers like your survival rate or KD ratio, in my opinion, will suck the life and fun out of the game for you. All these numbers don't mean much, and what they do to us is that we tend to care too much about what other people think about our stats. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I know some people who really take survival rate to the heart, but the survival rate doesn't say too much about you. Let me give you an example. You could be a more aggressive player than I am, and because of your aggressive playstyle, maybe you get into more fights, then you die more often. And on my end, maybe I'm a slower player than you are, so I get into less fights, maybe I survive more. There's more to this game beyond your survival rate and KD ratio. At the end of the day, I just want you to enjoy Tarkov the way you want to enjoy the game, which brings me to my next main point: find your own playstyle. There's always going to be a lot of talk about Chad versus Rat versus Honey Badger and all these other classifications of a type of player. But all this shouldn't matter, and that's what makes Escape from Tarkov such a beautiful game. When you enter a raid, you have no idea what you're going to come across. Are you going to come across a W key bunny hopping aggressive player? Are you going to come across someone who's hiding in a corner? It's so unpredictable, and that's what makes Escape from Tarkov so good. Every raid is always going to be different from the last one. The endless dynamic of different players and different playstyles you come across in Tarkov, and the unpredictability and dynamic feel of the game is what makes Tarkov Tarkov. With that said, I want you to play to your strengths. Do you succeed more in aggressive gameplay, or do you succeed more in slower, more calculated gameplay? It's up to you. The only way to find out is to try them all. Don't be pressured by what you see on YouTube or Twitch or your favorite content creators. Don't be pressured about how they play the game. Everyone's unique, including yourself. Everyone has different sets of skills, talents, and ways of thinking. So you really want to build a playstyle that suits you. Whatever playstyle you decide to build or choose, always remember that there's always someone out there who has something to say about your playstyle. Whether they think it's too slow or too fast for them or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's your playstyle, not theirs. What works for you and not for them. And moving on to my next point, this is a more tangible thing you can actually do in the video game to help you get over that solo anxiety. Learn how to make money in Escape from Tarkov. Making money in Escape from Tarkov is actually easier than we think. All it needs is time and effort. I'm gonna keep it simple and give you two main ways to earn money. Number one is to survive your raids. The more you survive your raids, the less you have to rebuy expensive armor and weapons. And number two, learn how to farm for money. And luckily, I do have a video for that. Check the top right of your screen. You're gonna see a little info card to another video I made in the past. That is a really quick farming guide on how I make money in Interchange. When I first learned how to farm and make easy money in Tarkov when I was starting out, I realized that money in this game is infinity, and it's almost impossible to go completely broke where you're stuck in the game and can't do anything anymore. And if you're almost completely out of gear, don't forget you still have scav runs every so often. These scav runs can make you easy money whether you farm with them or just run through a map with your scav to transfer all that gear to your PMC. And to wrap up this video, the last point is to have fun. Find your fun in Tarkov. A way to do this is use loadouts that you enjoy. For me personally, I've been enjoying bolt action snipers in the last couple of patches. I had a phase as well of just pure shotguns. Change it up every so often. It keeps the game fresh, and who knows, you might find a gun that you're actually really good at that you never knew because you never tried it. Also, take breaks from quests when you start getting burned out of a certain quest. If you keep running the same quest over and over again, maybe you keep failing it and you can't get it done, take a break from it. Do something else first. Maybe don't do quests for a bit. Maybe just focus on getting better at PvP first, make some money through farming runs. Or this can work the other way around. Maybe you've been focusing on pure PvP and money making. Try to change it up and do some quests. What's nice about quests is that they force you to run certain maps that maybe you don't like running so much and you might like the change of pace. Or it forces you to run certain armor or weapon loadouts you never really used before, and it just, keeps the game fresh. At the end of the day, I think the message I'm trying to send out through this video is to just have fun in Tarkov and take it easy. Do know as well that as much as I'm giving you guys tips on how to deal with the solo anxiety, that's also what makes Tarkov Tarkov. It's that pressure, that stress, that adrenaline you get because everything is on the line. And that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this video, do hit that like button. It helps the channel a lot. Subscribe to the channel for more, and let me know in the comments how you deal with your solo anxiety. If you made it to this point of the video, thanks for hanging, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.